Canada's housing market appears to be experiencing a winter chill in many markets to start the year. Anis Hadari with us from Calgary. It looks like less demand, and that's been an ongoing trend, but what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't even really have to make a pun about the market cooling off, at least according to the Real Estate Association. They're saying that at least part of what is a drop in housing sales in January of this year is because central and southwestern Ontario really got walloped with snow, and so I suppose people weren't going out to shop for real estate as a result. So what we have seen is a drop of 5.8% in terms of housing sales in January, the number of homes sold in January compared to the month before. And that includes houses, condos, basically residences. And at the same time as we saw less demand, less sales, inventory went up. And that's a term that realtors use a lot, but it's a little more easily translated as more houses went up for sale. So there was more product, there were fewer buyers, whether they were not out there because of the snow or not, but all of this added up to lower sales as a result. And the same thing happened in January of last year. A lot of sellers hopped on the market in January after getting through the Christmas season, but sales were a little bit more sluggish. But it's worth noting that, the weather was maybe a factor last year and just not as much as this year. And that's why we saw a bigger drop in 2025. Now, Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver, they did see jumps in how many houses went up for sale, I should point out. The snowy parts of Ontario in January did not see a jump in terms of the number of houses that went up for sale. So really, both in terms of supply and demand, David, we saw that the snow at least seemed to correlate if it wasn't the cause.
So do I read into that if people weren't going because there was so much snow all over the place, particularly in central Canada, not going to go look at homes and therefore not buying homes, that when the snow goes away, that suddenly prices are going to go up, demand's going to go up, inventory is going to go up?
Maybe. It's very important to note that winter isn't sizzling hot for real estate most of the time anyways. So if we saw a bigger drop this January, that might be because the snow was bad, but it doesn't mean that things would have been on fire without a snowstorm. As far as the Real Estate Association is concerned, though, they don't seem to see much reason to change their overall outlook for this year based on just what we saw in January. Take a listen to what an economist had to tell us.
Waiting for the bottom in interest rates, you've already got it. If you're waiting for the bottom in home prices at the same time, to sort of time those two things, I think you'll probably get that in the next few months as well. But in terms of any kind of major price growth returning in expensive markets like BC and Ontario, that's not in our forecast at all. We don't even have prices rising by even inflation this year. But we do think that things are going to stabilize.
So you heard it there. They don't expect, massive jumps in prices. They're predicting for this overall year, as in all of 2026, housing prices will go up by around 2.8% across Canada. People who have been waiting to get into the market, maybe they won't keep waiting as the year goes on, but nothing about this month seems to be raising alarm bells for the Real Estate Association, which represents real estate agents, of course. So they've got skin in the game here, but I should point out nobody knows what's coming in the Canadian economy in the next few months. Something like, a free trade deal might affect how comfortable people are with buying a house, spending a lot of money, taking out a big mortgage. So as things stand, let's see what happens. No big alarm bells, but who knows what's coming, David?
If you do see an economic, glass ball future predictor, then let us know.
Yeah, I'm working on it. It's coming up in my next story.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, Anis Hadari, thank you.